Everything is done with this very, very intimate personal detail.
Ever notice how the first few minutes of a film can totally make or break your viewing experience? That's the magic of the opening scene. It sets the tone, introduces the characters, establishes the conflict, and hooks the audience's attention.
It's something that, for some reason, stays with you so that a few years later you could watch it again, or 10 years later you watch it again and it's different.
Some of the best films out there have killer opening scenes that stick with you long after the credits roll.
It's so much more fun to do it.
In this video, we're gonna dive into the first scenes of 3 wildly different movies and see how they pull off their cinematic wizardry.
It is simply an act of theater.
And don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of how to begin a movie and even be able to write your own opening scene. First up though, let's talk about The Dark Knight, a masterpiece from Christopher Nolan.
On my films, I try to shoot as much in camera as possible.
Now, most sequels start off by catching us up on what the hero's been doing since we last saw them, often through narration or exposition. But The Dark Knight? Nope. It flips the script and introduces us to the bad guy right off the bat, embracing the golden rule of cinema: show, don't tell. The movie kicks off with a heart-pounding bank heist masterminded by none other than the Joker, our main antagonist. Filmed in IMAX, this scene pulls you right into the action. It starts with a sweeping shot of the city, then a window shatters in the distance, grabbing our attention. We're quickly introduced to a clown-masked robber shooting a cable, and another waiting on the street, holding a clown mask: the Joker. Meanwhile, the first group zips across the cable onto the bank's roof, where they cut the phone lines. Things really heat up when the main group storms the bank, guns blazing, causing total pandemonium. The heist unfolds, climaxing in a showdown with the bank manager, who manages to shoot one of the robbers. But then, plot twist, the Joke's been playing puppet master the whole time, setting up the robbers to take each other out so he can snag all the loot for himself. In true Joker fashion, he reveals his identity amidst the chaos, makes his escape in a school bus, and leaves behind a scene of destruction and a classic Joker gag: a smoke grenade in the bank manager's mouth. This epic scene is a perfect intro to the Joker's character and his key role in the film. It showcases his cunning, his love for chaos, and his psychopathic tendencies. It also sets up the film's main conflict: the ideological and tactical clash between the Joker's anarchy and Batman's quest for justice. The scene uses cross-cutting to build suspense, interlacing different actions to ramp up the anticipation. Close-ups draw us closer to the characters and to the action, while a mix of sound effects immerses us in the chaos. And let's not forget Hans Zimmer's score. It uses dissonance and distortion to create a sense of unease and impending chaos.
Where did you learn to count?
Next up, we're switching gears to a totally different genre with Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. This film's opening scene is a whole different ballgame. It's all about a tense chat between Hans Landa, a notorious Nazi officer known for hunting Jews, and Perrier Lapidite, a French farmer hiding a Jewish family under his floorboards. Unlike other films, this scene adopts a realistic and naturalistic approach, using long takes and minimal cuts to immerse viewers into the setting. Picture this: a peaceful countryside, a car rolling up to Lapidite's farmhouse. As Landa and his crew arrive, you can cut the tension with a knife.
He is a detective. That's first and foremost where he's coming from. He's a detective.
The camera catches Lapidite dropping his wood chopping like a hot potato and quickly signaling to his family. The interaction kicks off with Landa and his men stepping into the farmhouse, leading to a conversation that lasts a solid 20 minutes. The dialogue, a mix of French, English, and German, keeps things polite but oh so threatening.
And every scene he does is some version of an interrogation, and every piece of interrogation is a piece of theater.
Landa, smooth as silk and sharp as a tack, expertly pressures Lapidite into spilling the beans about the hidden Jews, all while pretending to care about his family life. At one point, he asks for a glass of milk, which might seem innocent enough, but there's something creepy about bad guys drinking milk. It's like they're twisting safe childhood memories or hinting at some deep-seated trauma. Think Alex in A Clockwork Orange or Homelander in The Boys. But hey, maybe I'm reading too much into the milk thing. Let's get back to the scene. Lapidite, caught between a rock and a hard place, tries to play Landa but eventually cracks under his relentless questioning. The scene hits its peak when Landa, switching to English to throw off the hidden Jews, forces the truth out of Lapidite. Tragically, Landa's orders lead to the slaughter of the Jews hiding under the floorboards, except for Shoshana, a young girl who miraculously escapes. In a shocking twist though, Landa, known for his ruthlessness, lets her run, bidding her a chilling "Au revoir, Shoshana!" This intense scene is a killer intro to Landa's character, showing off his cunning, ruthlessness, and manipulative skills, all of which have earned him the nickname the Jew Hunter. It sets up a stark contrast between Landa and the film's heroes, the Bastards, a squad of Jewish American soldiers taking out Nazis in brutal ways. Plus, the scene lays the groundwork for the film's main conflict, the war between the Nazis and the Allies, and Shoshana's quest for revenge, as she later takes over a cinema set for a Nazi event. The scene uses long takes to draw us into the camera, while medium shots and close-ups make us feel more connected to the characters. Strategic sound effects like the car's arrival, the chopping of the wood, gunshots, and the massacre break up the eerie silence, ramping up the scene's impact. Ennio Morricone's melancholy music sets the mood, adding a touch of elegance and sorrow. The opening scene of Inglourious Basterds is a masterclass in starting a movie with suspense and dialogue. It introduces the main antagonist, the main plot, and the main theme of the movie, while also creating a suspenseful and captivating experience for us, the audience. Alright folks, buckle up because we're about to dive into a whole new genre with Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street. The opening scene is like a high-speed roller coaster ride through the wild and crazy life of Jordan Belfort, our main man in the movie. It's all quick cuts and zooms, designed to keep you on the edge of your seat. It's kind of like a YouTube video. We kick things off with Jordan himself giving us the lowdown via voiceover, introducing us to his identity and his company, Stratton Oakmont. Then we're hit with a rapid-fire montage of Jordan's over-the-top lifestyle. His mansion, cars, yacht, women, and wild parties.
That's the story.
We also get a glimpse of his illegal and immoral antics, like throwing a dwarf at a dartboard or crashing a helicopter. The scene hits its peak with Jordan saying,
"I was making so much money I didn't know what to do with it."
This whirlwind scene is another amazing intro to Jordan, painting him as a greedy and corrupt stockbroker who rakes in millions by scamming his clients. He's all about living the high life, spending recklessly on anything that promises pleasure and satisfaction, with zero regard for the consequences or the harm he's causing others. He's the polar opposite of the FBI, the movie's bad guys I guess, who are hot on his trail, ready to bring him to justice. Plus the scene sets up the movie's main conflict, the rise and fall of Jordan's empire, tangled up with the moral dilemmas stemming from his choices.
Why bother telling a story of somebody who's unremarkable?
Even though the scene doesn't fully embrace the show don't tell concept, it still manages to deliver a potent mix of humor and shock. The clever use of voiceover narration gives us a peek into Jordan's inner thoughts and opinions, while the montage technique stitches together a ton of events, creating a rhythm and energy that packs a ton of info into a short span. Sound effects from music to laughter, screams and snorts highlight the serious and ridiculous aspects of Jordan's life. The eclectic music featuring various artists sets the mood and tone, often commenting on or contrasting Jordan's actions and words. The Wolf of Wall Street is a textbook example of how to start a movie with a montage. It sets up the main character, the main plot, and the main theme, all while delivering a powerful combo of humor and shock to reel in the audience. So what can we learn from these three opening scenes? How can we apply these techniques to our own stories and films? When you're planning or writing your own opening scene, here are some questions to consider. What is the genre and the tone of your story? And how can you use the opening scene to establish those things? Who are the main characters and what are their goals and motivations? How can you use the opening scene to introduce them and make them more interesting and relatable? What is the main conflict and the main theme of your story, and how can you use the opening scene to set them up and hook the audience's attention? What are the cinematic techniques that you can use to enhance your opening scene? How can you use camera angles, dialogue, music, editing, and symbolism to create tension, suspense, humor, or shock? Keep in mind, your opening scene is like your movie's handshake. It's the first impression and it's gotta be solid. Your goal is to pique the audience's curiosity, get them hooked, and make them feel invested in your story.
But you know what? The damn thing is you gotta be serious about making a picture.